looking after water is looking after fish. What's happening, scapers? So, like the intro said, there was an old boy who told me a lot of good tricks, and to be fair, is hats off to the guy, what a legend. So we're going to talk about good test kits. So this one here is the NT Labs test kit. Highly recommend it. We stock this one. We highly recommend everyone get one of these. So we've got a few test kits in stock. We stock the NT Labs one, we also stock the ADA one, but today we're going to concentrate on the NT Labs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do a test, and without boring you too much, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet for you. So I'm going to read you through pretty much what it says on the back and how easy it is to do. So it's pretty much basic chemistry. So if you remember back in your school days, I was rubbish at chemistry, but this is a doddle. So we've got ammonia, nitrate, nitrate. So for the newbies, there's a thing called the cycle. So when you first set up a fish tank, it's got to go through this thing called the cycle, where your ammonia will go sky high and then it'll drop and then it'll go to nitrate and nitrate. This works is that the bacteria breaks it down and makes it safe for fish. So with these as well, is to get it down is rather through water changes, good bacteria and all that sort of jazz. So I'll quickly run through it. Here's some water from a fish tank. You draw 5 ml out into these vials. So 1, 2, 3. Good thing is with these test kits, it comes with everything you need, so you don't need to buy anything else. What's good, and these syringes come in handy for other stuff as well. Like we use these for like fertilizing and stuff as well. So if you need to be precise with your fertilizer, then that's really good as well. So let's start off with the first one. So ammonia. So ammonia is the first thing that comes out of the fish's backside, pretty much. So when a fish has a poo, it's ammonia, and then the good bacteria breaks it down to nitrite and then to nitrate. So the whole point in this process, what we're doing now, so if you're a new tank, you would test this. I would say, well, we test it like every other day when we're setting up a new tank, just to keep an eye on what's going on. But yeah, it's good practice to do this every single week, so you know what's going on with your fish tank. So let's get this bad boy on the go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I was doing there is I was just literally giving them a right good shake before, and what it does is, because sometimes if you've not used it, let's say you're using it once a week, sometimes the solution inside actually separates, so you get a misread. So if you give them a right good shake, yeah, it's a case of you get a good mix then. So this is the same as well, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Okie dokie, put that one back in there. And then you've got the third bottle. So ammonia is always 3 bottles. It's color coded on here. I don't know if you can see it on camera, just there. You put there's 3 chemicals for the ammonia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what you do now is you give it a right good shake. You don't have to go crazy vigorous with it. And what you do is you wait for 10 minutes on that one. So while we're waiting on that one, get timer up, right, okay. So while we're waiting on that one, we will do the next one. So this is nitrite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of that one. Nitrate, what's the last one in the fish cycle sort of thing, is a bit different. Sorry, give that one a shake, can't forget that, bloody hell. Right, there you go. So next one is nitrate. So nitrate is the last in the fish cycle, so when your bacteria breaks it down, it leaves it at nitrate. The easiest way to get on top of that is water changing. So as an aquascape specialist store, we recommend doing 50% water changes a week. Everyone's going to argue with me about how many water changes you do, and some people never do them and all that sort of thing. All honesty, believe me, 50% water changes is where it's at, just because it crystallizes your water, it's diluting any old organics down, and it's just good maintenance to do. So we highly recommend that for our customers, but some people always have their own opinions, so it's a case of, you know, do what works best for you. So this is 6 drops for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So this is again 2 bottles. We're getting on with time. There we go. So this is bottle number 2. 6 drops of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Pop that back in there. Give it a little shake. There you go. Right, so next one we're going to do is pH. So pH, depending on where you are in the country or in the world, there's different pHs. So pH determines if you're like soft water, hard water, and different fish from all over the world require different things. As an aquascape store, we generally sit at about 6 to 6.5. We're quite lucky around here because we actually are quite low. So with this one, you've got to put 5 drops in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah, we're generally quite low around here, so there we go. But bearing in mind, when you put CO2 on, it drops it a little bit more, what's good. So yeah, that's something that newbies need to learn, is that when you CO2 inject, it generally brings your pH down as well. So something to take into consideration. If you've already got low pH, and then you're putting in CO2 injection, you might want to research into how to lift the pH before you do your water changes, and then so on and so forth. Next one is KH. So KH is the easiest way to explain it to like newbies and stuff like that is, I know there's a lot of people out there already understand this, but for educational purposes, so pH, think of it as like an element, and then KH is an element that's around it, sort of thing, to stop it bouncing up and down. So when people say I've got a pH crash, 9 times out of 10 they've probably got low KH, and what happens is because the pH can shift up and down, it can be an issue. So if you've got low KH, sorry, we'll go do this, sorry. So I'll come back to if you've got pH issues. So as you can see there, I've literally put 1 drop in, right? So that tells me how much KH is in the water, how much I'm protected my pH. So as you can see, that's turned literally on the first one. So I've got 1 part per million KH. So I was really worried about this when I first opened the store. So I got in contact with a good friend of mine who's an absolute wizard when it comes to water chemistry, and I did know about KH, and I did understand it, but he kind of clarified it for me. So I won't name names, but he doesn't live in this country, and he's a professional aquascaper, and I've been talking to him for many years, and he kind of reassured me that if the only way you can have a pH crash, what is very true, because I've never, in my working career in this industry over 16 years, I've never personally had a pH crash, and this is the first time I've come across a KH being so low, so I was worried. He says, chill, don't worry. He's exactly the same scenario. And the difference is that he says that if you ever have a pH crash, it's due to no water changes pretty much. So you get a lot of people who don't water change, and you know, it's entirely up to the self. Don't water change, me personally, just because you're freshening up nutrients and stuff like that. In this scenario, your KH is, with us, our KH is so low, if I don't water change, that pH is going to go up and down, meaning it's going to crash. So for us, we've got like a 2-week barrier where we don't have to do any like water changes before that'll start moving. All honesty, we do 50% water changes a week on all our tanks here. So that's the fish system, the display tanks and everything, and we have no issue with it whatsoever. And we heavily CO2 inject in a lot of our displays. So that's literally bringing our pH down even further. So the next one is GH, so General Hardness. So let's test this bad lad out. So apparently I put 2 of these in there. So 1, 2, there we go. So I'll turn to this like weird like orangey colour. So that was bottle A. Instead of calling it 1, 2, 3, they thought they'll confuse matters and go A bit. So yeah, that's that one there. So it turns to like a pink, as you can probably see. Our aim of the game is to get it to blue, as far as I know. Yeah, so we get it to blue, depending on how many drops I put in there, depending on our ratio. So here we go. So let's test this bad lad out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, 5. Oh no. It's going to want 6 to make it true blue. I know everyone sees colours slightly different, but yeah, there you go. That's a true blue to me. I'm looking in the lighter parts and yep, that is a true blue. So that was 6 we said. So there we go. So that means I've got 6 GH pretty much. So that's still quite low. In regards to where we go from here, so if we go back to the ammonia, so you leave that 10 minutes, we've probably over or under, but bearing in mind is that I've been keeping an eye on the clock and it hasn't changed even after then. So that is our ammonia. You test it after 10 minutes, you go up against your chart and it tells you where you're at. So on that chart, it is pretty much 0 there. So it's a case of the more bacteria you've got, the faster it'll break this ammonia down. So that's the aim of the game. You're looking after your water, not the fish. So if you keep on top of this, all these, you can keep fish no problem. Depending on what fish you keep as well, depending on that varies on pH. So let's have a look. So nitrite, 0, brill, nitrate, 0, brilliant. That's what we want. So that means that the cycle's doing its thing. That means that everything's hunky-dory with the tank. The fish are safe, hunky-dory. The last one is nitrate. So nitrate on that cycle, there we are, that one there, that one will raise over time. So that's why we do big 50% water change to eradicate this, any problems that are going to occur, and it resets. So we use like fertilizing programs and stuff like that. It resets that program, so then you can get back onto your fertilization again, start the program again, and your plants are all good. pH, so like I was saying before, depending on what fish you're going to keep, for instance, African cichlids, we don't deal with them here, but because we're an aquascape store, but African cichlids prefer a high pH. Us here, we prefer, because we keep a lot of plants and stuff like that, bearing in mind plants come from all over the world, so they require different pHs, but as far as a newbie is concerned, if we keep the pH low, plants 9 times out of 10 do great on it. So you keep it nice and low. So we're here, and at the moment we're sitting at about 7.5. So we put in usually it's about 6.5, but to be fair, I have tested a tank that has no CO2 on it. So our pH pretty much coming out of the tap is about 7.5, and then when we put CO2 on it, it brings it down to around about 6.5. That's kind of what we're on. Same with soils and stuff, that buffers you down, gets you nice and soft. KH and GH, yeah, they're pretty low. 50% water changes, keeps it all at bay. So yeah, hope this video's been helpful for you guys. If you've got any questions or anything like that, please feel free to comment. If you like the video, hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. You take care, guys.